I'm very happy to be here, but first of all, I should like to acknowledge Minister Bond that she's present with us today, as well as other people who are very important to this project. And thank you so very much for coming. I want to thank those who have been involved in this project. First of all, you know, there's a lot of work involved. First of all, the ideas come. And then there's the planning stage. And then there's the dollar raising. And then there's the actual implementation and construction. And everyone in town, as well as those visiting, will benefit from this. But I really want to single out those who have worked on this for so long, and Silvio through your Economic Development Office. And I also want to acknowledge that the Columbia Basin Trust has given just under $69,000 to this project over the last 2 years. And so I want to thank Minister Bond. You know, it was in 2007 that she came with then Minister of Community Services, Ida Chong, and they designated Valemount as a resort municipality. And Valemount has benefited greatly from that designation. And so I want to thank Minister Bond very much for that, as well as for all of her other support. You know, she works so hard on our behalf, and I've heard from a former mayor in Prince George, Colin Kinsley. He said, when there's a light on in an office in the Parliament buildings in Victoria, you can be sure that it's Minister Bond. Okay, so I want to thank you very much for that. And again, thanks to the village staff, and thank you, Columbia Basin Trust, for the money.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Really delighted to be here today. And I'm just going to, is that okay? There. So very, very delighted to be here. And one of the reasons I'm excited to be here is it's the beginning, yesterday was the beginning of Tourism Week in Canada. And I was very honored when my staff thought about where I should launch Tourism Week. I couldn't think of a better place than launching it here in the Robson Valley, and in particular at Mount Robson Provincial Park. So yesterday I was delighted to be able to announce funding in the amount of $325,000. Phase 1 is already complete of the enhancement work at the Mount Robson Visitor Center, and it's already made a difference, and so now Phase 2 will be underway. But today is about saying thank you to people who had a dream, had a vision for this incredible place, and making sure that it is more accessible to all British Columbians and to all visitors, whatever our ability level is. This is an extraordinary part of our province, and just yesterday we had the experience of doing a good part of the Marsh Walk, and I can't tell you how amazed we were by what we saw. You know, a pair of Canada geese with their babies. Just an exceptional place here in British Columbia. So I wanted to congratulate and thank the team of people that worked so hard. I think the best news is that good things come to people that wait for them, and I know that this took a number of years to complete, and there's more work to be done. I think that's an important recognition, and I look forward to supporting and partnering with people who want to make this even more accessible, to look at additional segments of the boardwalk and other improvements that we can make. But the Mayor mentioned RMI funding, which is an important part of this project, and as Silvio pointed out, one of the things that made this possible was the ability to accumulate the funding received under the RMI program. So I'm very pleased to tell you that RMI funding will continue for the next 2 years, and Valemount will continue to receive virtually the same amount of money, well over $50,000 each year, to continue those enhancements. So I want to congratulate everyone. I think that this is an incredible part of the province. I look forward to telling the story as I talk about Tourism Week across the province. And I do want to thank Columbia Basin Trust, our other partners, the local people who actually got the contract to do the building. All of that really matters. So congratulations. It's fantastic. It's a great partnership. What a place to teach others about the beauty of British Columbia. The final piece I want to just talk about today is also the highway improvement project that is underway, and I know that many of you are probably wondering, where did that come from? We're recognizing the challenge of moving bigger equipment down that corridor, and so we're going to invest in the total project well over $5 million to actually lower the road to ensure that there is the ability to move industrial traffic, but also to make sure the corridor is safer for those of us who use it regularly and those of you who use it as residents. So all in all, a really great time here in the Robson Valley and Valemount. Lots of things happening, and I'm just really delighted to be here today on tourism during Tourism Week to officially open the Cranberry Marsh Boardwalk. Congratulations to all of you. I hope you all get out and use it and make sure you do those 6K. I didn't quite do 6K yesterday, but I sure felt good about the section that I did do. So congratulations. Thank you for having me today. It's a job very well done. And with that, Silvio is going to unveil our brand new sign.
Well, we're here with the Honourable Shirley Bond, Minister of Jobs, Tourism, Skills Training, and the Minister responsible for Labour, as well as the MLA for Prince George Valemount. That's certainly a mouthful to get on the back of a jersey.
That's right. I have a pretty big business card, I guess.
I wanted to talk to you about a few things. It's Canadian Tourism Week. It's Tourism Week here in BC, and we're here today to officially open the Cranberry Marsh Boardwalk. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I thought that there's no better place to launch Tourism Week in British Columbia than here in the amazing Robson Valley. You know, a chance to visit Mount Robson Provincial Park and also to be here to celebrate the incredible work that's been done to bring what was a dream to reality. The boardwalk was officially opened today. I think it's going to increase opportunities for accessibility for our seniors and others who will get a chance to be part of this magnificent place. So I'm honored to be here. The province was a partner through our resort municipality funding, and it's a great way to celebrate tourism here, not only in the Robson Valley, but I think this is a gem here in British Columbia.
It certainly is, and hopefully more people get out and get a chance to see this beautiful place. It's one of Valemount's treasures, it surely is. Let's talk about yesterday and the announcement at Mount Robson.
Well, yesterday I was very pleased to be able to announce enhancement funding for the Mount Robson Provincial Visitor Centre. One thing we know is that as a gateway to British Columbia, we want to be sure that that first impression is a good one. So phase one of the work is already complete, but in total we'll be investing over $300,000 in enhancements at the Visitor Centre to ensure that those visitors that do choose to come to British Columbia have great service, great amenities, and it was exciting yesterday. I met visitors that were there from Germany, from England. One of the couples from Washington State, actually it was their third visit in a year because they love this part of the province so much. So I think it's an important part of the economy as well. It's about diversifying our economy, growing our tourism share, and certainly that's something that I think could be very helpful to Valemount and the Robson Valley.
Well, the Mount Robson Visitor Centre is very important to Valemount, and they send a lot of people our way to see the attractions in our area, so we're grateful for any improvements that can be made there. I also wanted to talk about something else. This is shaping up to be a fantastic year for tourism for Valemount, and one of the things that's opened this year and is in good use already is the Valemount Bike Park.
I'm really excited about the bike park, and I think that people underestimate the economic and tourism potential of having a bike park. So it's been a real pleasure to work with VARTA. You know, Curtis does such an amazing job with the team and all the partners that have been involved, Northern Development Initiative Trust, obviously the village, the locally elected representatives, all of the people engaged in this process. But what's amazing is that bike parks are becoming very popular throughout the entire region. If you think about it, you've got Blue River, you've got Clearwater, you have McBride, you have Valemount, you have Sun Peaks, who has an amazing bike park as well. Think about the potential if we look at it as a network, encouraging people to come, stay a night or two in various places and try out all of those bike parks. I see it again in terms of the economy, making sure that we can diversify, grow tourism opportunities. So I am a big supporter. We're working closely to make sure that VARTA has the ability to be flexible in how it operates, and we're working on that. But But it's a great job being done by a local organization, and it's going to pay off big time, I think, for the Robson Valley.
We've already got counters on the trails, and there's been a good number so far, and it's just opened. And wait till the word gets out to the rest of the biking community, and we're going to be swamped with bikers. It'll be a great thing.
Well, I think it's great from a couple of perspectives. Not only does it get people to our region, what we really want them to do is at least stay overnight, because if you can bring someone to a community where they stay overnight, the economic benefits are incrementally much larger. So it's about attracting them, and I think talking about the bike parks as a network is a really attractive option. So certainly I'm going to look at the provincial level. Is there a way to help in that development of that bike park network, so to speak? But it's also great for health. It's getting people out into the outdoors. One of the reasons I like the Cranberry Marsh Boardwalk is exactly for that reason. It gets people outdoors, taking the opportunity to get active, and that's also good from a healthcare perspective as well.
Absolutely. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about another project that's hopefully nearing fruition, and it's the Valemount Glacier Destinations Resort. As you know, the master plan has been submitted. It is being looked at now, and we hope to have word any day or any month now.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just taken a lot of hard work. And again, it's about how we grow the economy here and how we take advantage of the incredible assets there are here in Valemount and in the Robson Valley. So I've spent a lot of time in ministers' offices supporting the process, making sure that we're moving it through what is an appropriate process. We need to make sure that we're looking at the environment, making sure the project is sustainable. But I can assure you, an enormous supporter of the project, working hard behind the scenes in Victoria to make sure that that we make this a reality here in Valemount. So still a little bit of work to be done, I'm told, but generally speaking, good progress has been made, and we're going to continue to be aggressive about moving that project forward.
Great. And the last item I wanted to talk to you about while you're here in Valemount, it's not strictly tourism related, however there are some tourism overtones to it, and that's the Valemount and its exploration for geothermal. New society has been formed, the Geothermal Society, and they're looking now to try to raise funds to do some geothermal exploration. And when I say it's not traditionally tourism related, there may be hot springs associated with it, which could have a tourism benefit, and the direct use capabilities of the heat that's generated from the geothermal will definitely benefit some of the tourism operators here. And I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, I've had the pleasure of, you know, obviously meeting with the proponents of one of the projects, but also looking at the work that Mayor and Council have done recently, striking a committee to talk about what kinds of recommendations, where do we go to next with the possibility of geothermal energy here. I've taken groups from Valemount to meet with the Minister of Energy and Mines to make sure he's aware of the potential, have met with Geoscience BC to make sure that we're doing this in a very thoughtful way. But I think the community stepping up and taking leadership is absolutely what we need here. And so I'm very encouraged by the work that's been done. I'm a supporter of clean and green energy, and I think that the Valley has been a leader in looking at various ways that we can take advantage of things like geothermal. So from my perspective, some good work being done. Happy to be supportive where that's appropriate and necessary. But I think, for example, the committee that's been struck by Council is great. I think the society is an important aspect in terms of leadership and advocacy. So always looking forward to ways to, again, diversify the economy, strengthen and grow the economy here in the Valley. For far too long in British Columbia, you know, while we'll always rely on natural resources, we also have to look at the other assets that we have, so that when we're in those tough times, when it's about commodity prices, we have to have other things that help British Columbia lead. That's what's helping us lead the economy today. So very proud of the work that's being done on a number of fronts here in Valemount. It's been fantastic to get the sense of enthusiasm around the tourism agenda in particular, something I'm very proud of and very happy to support.
Well, thank you very much, Minister Bond, for coming down to Valemount and making the announcement and kicking off National Tourism Week here in Valemount, and it looks like it's going to be an exciting year for tourism here.
Absolutely a pleasure. We've had record numbers in 2015, 2016 is looking great, and I'm optimistic that we'll have a great 2017 in the tourism sector as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.